If you've been waiting for good news on U.S. immigration, January 2026 just changed everything. After months of uncertainty, new relief measures are finally here, and they could directly impact your future in America. Whether you're on a visa, waiting for a green card, or planning to move, this update is something you cannot afford to miss. Welcome back to Immigration Fresh Updates, your trusted source for honest, real-time U.S. immigration news. I'm so glad you're here today, because what we're covering is massive. January 2026 has brought forward some of the most significant immigration relief policies we've seen in years. From work authorization expansions to faster green card pathways, and even protections for undocumented families, this update touches nearly every corner of the immigrant community. If you've been feeling stuck, anxious, or unsure about your status, today's video will bring clarity, hope, and direction. So stick with me till the end, because we're breaking down everything you need to know, step by step. Let's start with update number 7, and this one is huge for families. If you're the spouse of an H-1B or L-1 visa holder, you know how frustrating it's been to sit on the sidelines while your partner works. But starting January 2026, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has officially expanded work authorization eligibility for H-4 and L-2 dependents. This means thousands of spouses who were previously restricted can now apply for employment authorization documents without waiting for their partner's green card process to reach advanced stages. Why is this happening now? It's a combination of economic pressure and humanitarian advocacy. The U.S. labor market is still facing shortages in healthcare, technology, education, and engineering. By allowing more skilled dependents to work, the government is filling critical gaps while also supporting family unity. Politically, this move also sends a message. America values immigrant families and wants them to thrive, not just survive. For many of you watching, this could mean financial independence, career growth, and emotional relief. You no longer have to feel like a burden or put your dreams on hold. Whether you're a software engineer, a teacher, a nurse, or an entrepreneur, your skills are welcomed. And the best part? The application process has been streamlined. Processing times are expected to drop to under 90 days in most cases. This is a win, a real tangible win for so many families who've been waiting in limbo. Moving on to update number 6, and this one brings deep relief to the dreamer community. If you're a DACA recipient, you've lived through years of political back and forth, court battles, and constant fear of losing your status. But in January 2026, the administration announced an extension and strengthening of deferred action protections. Not only will current DACA recipients have their status automatically renewed for another 2 years, but the program is also being expanded to include individuals who aged out or missed previous deadlines due to administrative errors. Let's talk about why this matters. DACA recipients are teachers, healthcare workers, small business owners, and essential community members. You've built your lives here. You've contributed taxes, served your communities, and raised families. This extension isn't charity. It's recognition. It's the government acknowledging that you belong here. From a diplomatic standpoint, this also aligns with growing international pressure. Ally nations have been vocal about supporting pathways to citizenship for long-term residents. By extending DACA protections, the U.S. is showing consistency and compassion on the global stage. If you're a dreamer watching this, take a breath. You're safe. Your work permit is secure. And while this isn't a permanent solution yet, it's a critical step towards stability. Use this time to plan, to grow, and to advocate. Your voice matters now more than ever. Update number 5 is all about speed, and it's focused on those of you in healthcare and STEM fields. Starting this month, USCIS has introduced a priority processing track for employment-based green card applications in nursing, medicine, software engineering, data science, and renewable energy sectors. What does this mean? If you're in one of these categories, your I-140 and I-485 processing times could be cut by up to 50%. Why now? The answer is both economic and strategic. The U.S. is in a global race for talent, especially in tech and healthcare. Countries like Canada, Australia, and Germany are actively recruiting the same professionals. To stay competitive, America has to move faster. This priority processing is a direct response to that reality. If you've been stuck in the green card backlog for years, especially if you're from India or China, this update won't solve everything, but it's a meaningful improvement. It shows that the system is trying to adapt. It shows that your skills are valued. And here's the emotional truth. Waiting for a green card is exhausting. It affects your mental health, your family planning, your career decisions. So even though this isn't a complete fix, it's a signal of progress. And progress, my friends, is worth celebrating. If you're eligible, make sure your employer is aware of this priority track. Work with your immigration attorney to file under the updated guidelines. Don't let this opportunity slip by. Update. Number 4 is for all the students out there. And trust me, this one's going to make your life so much easier. If you're on an F1 visa, you know how stressful it can be to balance your studies, work authorization, and future plans. But starting January 2026, the Department of Homeland Security has announced extended optional practical training, OPT, and curricular practical training, CPT, flexibility. Here's what's new. STEM students can now apply for up to 42 months of OPT instead of 36. Non-STEM students get an additional 6 months, bringing the total to 18 months. And CPT? You can now work part-time during your first year without jeopardizing your post-graduation OPT eligibility. Why does this matter? Because it gives you time. Time to gain experience, to build your resume, to network, and to transition from student to professional. It also increases your chances of finding an employer willing to sponsor your H-1B or green card. From a policy perspective, this change reflects the U.S. understanding that international students are economic assets. You bring diversity, innovation, and global perspectives. Universities across America depend on you, not just financially, but intellectually. So if you're currently studying or planning to study in the U.S., this is your moment. Take full advantage of these extended timelines. Build your career, make connections, and remember, your education here is an investment in your future, and now that future has more room to grow. Now we move to update number 3, and this one is deeply emotional. If you're an undocumented spouse or child of a U.S. citizen, you've probably lived in constant fear. Fear of separation, fear of deportation, fear of losing everything you've built. But in January 2026, the U.S. government expanded the Parole in Place program, allowing eligible undocumented family members to apply for temporary legal status and work authorization without leaving the country. Let me say that again. You do not have to leave. You can stay with your family, apply for protection, and begin your path toward permanent residency, all from within the U.S. This is monumental. For years, undocumented families have been told they had to leave the country and apply from abroad, often triggering 3 or 10-year bars. This program removes that trauma. It keeps families together. Why is this happening? Because family unity is a core American value. And politically, there's growing recognition that separating families, especially those with U.S. citizen children, is both cruel and counterproductive. This program reflects that shift. If you or someone you know qualifies, please seek legal help immediately. This is your chance. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. The window is open, and you deserve to walk through it with dignity and hope. Update number 2 is for everyone watching from India and China, and I know there are so many of you. The January 2026 visa bulletin just dropped, and for the first time in years, we're seeing significant forward movement in EB2 and EB3 categories for both countries. Some priority dates have jumped forward by over 18 months. I know what you're thinking. Is this real, or is it just another tease? And I get it. You've been waiting for years, sometimes decades. But this movement is real, and it's tied to several factors: unused visa numbers from previous years, administrative efficiencies, and policy pressure to reduce backlogs. What does this mean for you? It means hope. It means you're closer than you've ever been. If your priority date is current or about to be current, now is the time to prepare. Update your medicals, gather your documents, stay in close contact with your attorney, and emotionally, let yourself feel this. You've sacrificed so much. You've stayed patient when it felt impossible. You've kept your family's dreams alive. And now, finally, there's movement. That matters. That's worth acknowledging. Stay strong. Stay hopeful. Your green card is coming. And now, the number one update, the one that affects the most people. Starting January 2026, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services has reduced the naturalization application fee by 30% and committed to cutting processing times to under 6 months for most applicants. This is huge. For years, the cost and delays of becoming a U.S. citizen have been barriers for hardworking immigrants. But now, the process is more accessible and faster than ever. If you've been eligible but held back by the fee or the wait, this is your moment. Why is this happening? Because citizenship is the final step in the immigrant journey, and the U.S. wants to welcome you home. Politically, this also strengthens communities, increases civic participation, and reflects the nation's immigrant roots. If you're a green card holder watching this, start your application. Don't wait another year. This is your time to take that final step, to vote, to fully belong. You've earned it. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Comment below and tell me, where are you watching from, and which of these updates impacts you the most? Let's support each other in the comments. So there you have it. January 2026 has brought real, meaningful relief for immigrants across the board. From work permits to green cards, from students to families, this is a moment of progress. If this video helped you, please hit that like button, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe to Immigration Fresh Updates for more honest, timely immigration news. Remember, your journey matters, your dreams are valid, and you are not alone. Which update are you most excited about? Let me know. Until next time, stay hopeful, stay informed, and keep moving forward.